3, 2, 1, and welcome back to Chasing the Racing, episode 63. And we're down in.
Is that a guess?
In Lincolnshire.
That's a guess,
it is
isn't it?
definitely
Have you figured
63.
this out? Right, brilliant.
And we're joined by Tim and Tom Neave, two competitors of mine in Superstock 1000. I was teammates with Tim last year at Morello Racing. And yes, Tim, yeah.
All right,
and,
Grant, I'm learning.
for
On
those-
this show, you always learn things.
For those people watching the YouTube or who already know the Neave lads, you'll see that there's not much in terms of looks. There's not much between them. Identical twins. And first of all, who's older?
I'm older.
By
about a minute and a half.
Shut up, man.
The actual
Is that
story.
actually- is it
Do you want to know the
actually-
actual story?
Yeah, please go for it.
My umbilical cord was strangling him, so they had to cut him out quick because I was going to kill him.
Jesus Christ.
How's that relationship blossom from there? You know what I mean?
That's been lovely.
Wait, hold on. So how did your parents just like get into that conversation? You know what I mean? Where you're like 17, 18, having a chomp at each other and going, you know what you should have done, Tom? You should have killed him when you were in the womb. So
It's
you
never
had an
been any
opportunity.
different- It's never been any different since.
I tell you what, one problem we're going to have here is that you sound exactly the same. So I think every time you speak, you'll have to say, Tom speaking.
Yeah. I was expecting you lads to put a post-it note on us or something. Oh, he's already on it.
Oh, there we go. So Tim and Tom. And
It doesn't help the listeners though, does it?
I know it helps me.
Oh.
I'm gonna forget in half a second.
So because you've got the whole twins thing running through the family, haven't you? With your is it your dad's side of the family?
Yeah, my dad's brothers. Yeah, James and Charles.
So your
Twins.
dad's got twin. Is your dad a twin?
No, he's the youngest of four.
Right.
The middle two are twins.
And then your twins. And have you got twins?
Twin brother and sister as well. Younger brother and sister,
Yeah.
which not many people know, and it is.
Something in the genes, isn't it?
It's weird, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah.
But, anyway, fantastic for you to join. Obviously, we're down at Crow Performance, so it's really close to where you live. And you must be both excited for the season ahead. Obviously, so Tim, you're on the Suzuki.
Yeah, the Bill Bay Suzuki Hawk Racing lads this year.
Who's your teammate on that? Sorry, as you know, and you've obviously been listeners to the show, you have a fully understanding that I know nothing about motorcycle racing. So who's your teammate? With Hawk Racing?
In the stock class is me and Leon Jaycock in the stock thousands, and then there's Kyle Ride and Keith Farmer on the superbikes.
And it's the reigning champions as well. So obviously, good package, and the bike was fast last year.
Yeah,
so
you're
must be really excited going into the season.
I think
can't
come out with excuses. No, that's what I've been wanting for years now. There's no excuses. I know the bike's right. Yeah. It's just down to me now, so it's a good place to be in my opinion.
And you've got a good little crew there. Is Steady helping you out again this year?
Steady's to sponsor me again, really. It's not really hands-on.
Right.
We're doing a lot of practicing together, and we're doing the No Limits Endurance.
Steady.
Richard Steadman, yeah.
Oh, right, sorry.
It's not a very good nickname for a bike racer, is it?
Steady. Imagine that coming over the line, and Steady wins it.
Yeah. No, it is.
It sounds like a good story.
He's just helping me out as a sponsor.
Mega.
And we're doing the endurance together.
Oh, cool.
So,
and from for you, Tom, obviously staying with the same team, Factory Honda team, and new bike as well this year. Yeah. It is factory, isn't it? It's actually the only factory outfit in the whole of the British Superbike Championship where every team is like. So you would have like the Cinetic BMW or the McCams Yamaha. Honda is the only team that's the sponsor is the manufacturer.
Yeah, they don't really carry a title sponsor, so it's backed from Honda UK bike sales essentially, I think. So it's a pretty good team to be in. I'm not complaining.
Oh, fantastic! And I presume you've been out on the new bike.
Yeah, we was out in Spain. That was my first time on it back in March. And that was my first time on it. That was real good. And then was close really because we was out there. And the last day, the police come to the circuit and said you've got to leave. The country's going into lockdown. Mm-hmm. If you don't leave now and pack up, you'll be arrested or whatever. Right. So we literally had to get back. And then we came home. And then the UK went into lockdown about a week after.
So you brought coronavirus. So we're having an exclusive on Chase the Racer. You are the bringer, the carrier, patient zero as such. I love it.
Wasn't your last day? You went back to the hotel and you came through the streets and it was all clapping. From balconies or something. Yeah, that's because we rolled up. That's what
yes, it is us. It is us.
They were doing their version of the NHS clap. But just as we got to the hotel, the whole entire street was out on the balconies just as we got out of the van. So we was like, hey, what's going on? And we didn't know people clapped for the virus. So we was thinking, bloody hell, we're famous here.
I tell you, stepping out going, today is my moment.
So I was there filming it, taking all the glory, putting on the story saying, no, we've arrived.
We'll get back to the crack in a second, but we've got a sponsor for this episode, and we've got the Burrows Motor Company. It's a local family-owned business with sites in Rotherham, Barnsley, Doncaster, Sheffield, Worksop and York, representing Toyota, Mazda and Kia brands. Borough Motor Company is large enough to help with any motoring requirement you should have, whilst remaining small enough to retain the family-friendly feel, with each team member working constantly to ensure they have the best possible service to each customer, whether they've been coming to us for 10 years or if it's their first visit. So whether you're looking for a new Toyota, Mazda or Kia, or wanting a nearly new or pre-loved used vehicle of a different make and model, Burrows Motor Company are large enough to help source the perfect car for you. Our dedicated team are well known to many of our customers and are just a phone call away. Of course, once you drive away with the service doesn't end there, with great options to help you maintain your vehicle in tip-top condition. Our fully manufacturer-trained technicians, body shop technicians, parts and service advisors, or our booking team are on hand to help with any inquiry. Just call in or contact your nearest Burrows site. And they've got an exclusive offer at the moment that if you're going to buy either a new or a used car,
you get Tom or Tim Neave.
Just mention Chasing the Racing podcast. You get 250 quid off. So 250 quid off for any new or used car. So if you're in any of those local areas, pop over if you fancy a new car and drop in the Chasing the Racing.
You've got to say it in a Geordie accent. That's the only catch. You've got to say it in a Geordie accent.
So getting back to it, obviously the last few years with the Honda, the bike was, it was designed a long time ago, and in terms of the Superstock class, it was starting to get a little bit tired compared to the other manufacturers. Now, as professional as the team are and as good as the riders and the mechanics are, it was just lacking the minerals a little bit last year. Do you feel like the new bikes what you need to challenge for the Superstock Championship?
Yeah, definitely. It's
contract ticked.
Yeah.
Carry on.
yeah, definitely. That's it.
Here we go.
No.
It's a big improvement off the old.
I can feel a massive difference.
Have you ridden the old one, the old Honda?
Yeah, I raced it last year.
Even better.
Where you been?
Look, I'm learning here. I'm all about. We're jumping straight into the fire, Blake. Right? I don't even know what you've done
about bikes.
This is my job, son. This is
you
my
race it
job.
last
I throw it all up in the air. There you are. So anyway, the old bike was shite. This one's good. Carry on.
I'm not saying that. They were not. I did not say that.
Honda will hold your pants down for that.
I'll just put that out
It's
there.
an improvement, so it's better than the last.
As with every new bike that comes out, yeah, they've definitely made steps forward, and it's good power. It feels real stable and strong. And
the last bike, I think one of the biggest issues, everyone says the chassis was amazing, but just the outright horsepower of the bike wasn't really up to scratch. I've heard rumours that the new bike's kicking out with a exhaust and mapped and stuff, kicking around the sort of 220 area, which for a Superstock that's like I'm looking at Tim who's on the Suzuki, and on a good day, if
you've got 140 brake
if you can get over 190 on the Suzuki, you're doing great.
A good one's 190, I think.
Yeah. So if anything over 200's smashing. So
and for me, anything over that mark will be. It's going to be better. It's going to be better.
It's not all about the numbers, though.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And obviously you finished the season with a Suzuki last year as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
That was sort of through Bill Base, so is it a similar sort of bike to what you're riding?
It was their bike, and I essentially rented a bike for the last 3 rounds with my own crew, but it came with their setup and help trackside, and that transformed my year. So I knew straight away I wanted to be on a Suzuki.
Yeah.
And if I could get their help, that'd be even better.
Because last year you did have there was a noticeable change midway through the season where you finished the season so strong.
Yeah, much better. Yeah.
Crashed out the last race, but you were sort of on for a podium there.
In the gravel track.
Yeah.
Well, I can't talk. I did the same too.
Half a lap to go.
I know.
And a chance of third. I think I was running in 5th, and the guy in 3rd ran out of fuel, and I was battling. Yeah, with Tom
and Donington as well. He had a good
5th at Donington.
Real strong finish.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, before we'll kind of go through your career, but I know you're both kind of famous in the flat track, the flat track side of things. So is that the discipline that you started race?
That's what we started on. Going around in circles, yeah.
Oh, that explains a few things.
And just explain to the listeners, the viewers, what is flat track?
It's basically oval racing. It's like a speedway track, and you're on a motocross bike, which you lower, and put a 19-inch wheel in the front, and put some they're like a supermoto wet type tyre, and just go around as fast as you can.
So for years ago, did you know, was there somebody in the local area doing it or something, or family?
It's pretty new in the UK. Not many people really know about it. It's massive over in the States. Like, you can
it's American. That's where it comes from, America. But
it's been around years.
I can tell you the story if you like. So Pete Boast, he was a speedway racer, and he'd been over to America, and he loved the flat tracking, and he came back and he started it over here because he wanted to carry on that sort of racing. And he moved into the village where we live. There's only 13 houses in the village, so everyone knows everyone, and everyone's business. And we had an old farm bike, and it was broken. And Dad said, "Oh, there's a biker in the village now, Pete, who was running the flat track series at the time." And he said, "Go round to Pete's, he'll repair your bike for you." So I nipped round with this old Chinese bike.
How old were you at this point?
13.
13. Oh,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. And we got it going. And we had a ride around a field and we thrashed around, and Pete said, "Oh, you look like you can ride a bike. Why don't you come and do a flat track race?" And then, so the year after, that was it. 14, I started flat tracking.
And did you both?
No. This is. I had some dark years. I did. No, I was basically Tim got into the racing, but Mum and Dad wanted us to go down our own routes, really.
I don't think it was Mum and Dad's decision totally.
I think they just wanted us to do something a bit different and just go our own ways, because obviously being twins, doing everything together, and it's nice just to sort of have your own hobby, isn't it? So basically, the year Tim started racing, they bought him a CRF 150 motocross bike, and they said, "Oh no, you can't go racing, Tom. You can have a shotgun. You can go clay pigeon shooting." I was like, all right. So
hold on. At this point, but you wanted to go on a bike as well.
Oh yeah.
You were desperate.
You sound like you've drawn the short straw there, man.
Yeah, big time.
Is that because you're trying to kill him in the womb?
For twins, like young lads, and you find come across motorbikes. It's like it's the best thing ever, innit? Every kid wants to go riding and
fly out around fields.
Yeah, and it suited us down to the ground. So for me to like go and stand in the field and shoot things out of the sky weren't quite ticking the boxes for me.
I want to know why Mum and Dad was buying 13-year-old shotguns.
That's normal for farmers, though, isn't it? It's normal for farmers.
Yeah.
Not where we're from, but anyway, carry on.
Well, Lincolnshire's a special place. But no, so yeah, I had a year of watching Tim, and I never really went. I think I went clay pigeon shooting twice.
So your brother's had a year head start.
So I was watching Tim on the sidelines, thinking, like, I want to do this, and I can do it. Why this isn't fair at all? So at the end, halfway through the year, I started saving up, and me and my granddad went and bought it was a Chinese pit bike.
Stomp thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, Stomp 140 thing that I just saved up with a bit of pocket money and whatnot. It only cost like maybe 600 or 700 quid.
But
for me, that was
crazy, didn't we?
we thought that was a lot of money back then. And then I started practicing that winter and then started racing the following season. So that's how it come about. Tim got a year head start on me.
And then obviously at some point you must have made the step to road racing. How did that come about?
Yeah, that come a bit later on, really. We've both sort of gone through our flat tracking routes. We've done 5 years flat tracking.
Yeah,
we both won the
2010.
Both won junior championships. Tim had won the 450 championship. Was at a point where it was at the top of the UK championships.
I was going to say, how big was that championship? So if you're saying that Peter Bose has kind of brought it into the country, how big?
Looking back now, it was at the peak of where it's ever been.
Really?
There was ex Speedway World Championship riders doing it. There was Ollie Brindley, which everyone knows who Ollie is. He went over to America to race flat track. And there was a load of other young lads coming through, and us too, and it was a good championship. But to really make anything off it, you got to go to America. So you got a deal.
We was at a crossroads, really, weren't we?
Yeah.
So Tom went road race, and I was actually going to go to America flat tracking. That
definitely would have split up.
Yeah, I'd have inquired about a van over there and a bit of work and somewhere to stay, and I was speaking to a bit of a family.
And what age was this then?
So that was
17.
That was 2004. 2014, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 17.
When we were 17, yeah.
Wow.
And then, basically, I sort of decided that I was a bit immature, and maybe going to America on my own wasn't the best thing to do.
He was just scared of leaving me, really.
And Tom was into this road racing, and we sort of said, "Oh, why don't you have a go at doing that?" So I actually started off-road the year before Tom, but the road racing the year after. So He got the head start. He got the head start on the tarmac.
Just while we're talking about the flat track, I know it gets mentioned a lot, and people will be interested. What's the crack with that thing in Barcelona?
Super
that
Prestigio. Looks mint.
Is that the World Cup for flat track or something?
It used to be like a big event back in, I think, like the 80s or something.
Kind of a one-off kind of thing.
Yeah, one-off winter thing, just to get everyone together, loads of people from all around the world, MotoGP, and it sort of died out, and then Marquez brought it back to life in I think
celebration for winning his
first
Grand
Prix
Prix championship. Yeah.
So, and it was invite only, and me and you both qualified through. You qualified through winning the championship, and I qualified through. I think it was an event in the in the winter, you had to go and finish in the top 3 to get an invite, and I come second or something, I think.
Yeah.
So you've met Mark, hasn't?
Yeah,
raced against
him. Gone elbows against him. Yeah.
Yeah. So how did that go then? Is there like 4 per race or something, and then qualifying, and how does it work?
They have an open class, which is like the top 3 out of like motocross, enduro, flat track, supermoto championships, and then they have a super class, which is just GP riders only. So like all the
we rocked up, just like we hadn't been road racing at this point. We'd just been like flat tracking in the UK with a few guys, but nothing special. And we rocked up to Spain to this practice day, and there was literally, you name it, they were there. There was Vinales, Rins, Troy Bayliss,
Bautista, Redding, there's all there, weren't they?
Every man and his dog from the Supermoto World Champion. It was insane.
Did you give them some?
Well, the first year was a bit difficult actually, wasn't it? We struggled a bit, and I think we did all right in practice and whatnot. And then as soon as we got racing, it's sort of the pressure. You have like 4 hours off in between practice and the evening race, and then there's like how many thousand people watching in this Barcelona stadium, the Olympic Stadium. And it just sort of fried our head a little bit, to be fair. But the year after it went much better, and I out-qualified Marquez. I was second fastest out of, I think, 48.
Yeah, something like that.
Who pipped you?
Brad Baker, the American flat track champion. But he crashed on his last lap in qualifying and dislocated his shoulder. So I was like, oh my God, I'm the fastest here now, sort of thing. Yeah, Marquez was second. Then it was another top American flat tracker, Jared Mees.
He was second in the American championship.
And then
Jared
it was you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But you're talking like thousandths of seconds, because it's only like a 14-second
oval. Who gives
oval.
a crap, yeah.
There was us top 5, and then there was like a break from the pad from the rest of the guys behind us. So it's quite good. But then but
it was like it was a real dug up deep dirt track, and we was loving it because it was a bit loose, like hang it out to get a good lap time in. And then 4 hours later for the race, they packed it so hard, and it was like an ice rink.
Dried out.
We've never ridden anything like that. It was just flipping out. Marquez just annihilated everyone. Like no one could touch him.
He rocked up with like every traction control button imaginable on his bike.
And we'd on bog
standard bikes that we'd literally like cut the forks down ourselves to lower the bike.
Borrowed some 17-inch
wheels, and just showed up with that. And he turned up with like his full Repsol Honda crew, Olin's man, the full works, and we're like, Jesus, this is serious.
So how did you crash in the race, or like how did it go?
It was like it was so cutthroat. You had to basically finish in the top 2 in every race to go through to the final. I think my first race I finished second. The second race I was leading and someone T-boned me, and then I was into the last chance and then I fluffed that, and that was it done. Yeah. It was like bloody hell,
it's over, innit? Just like that.
But it was. It showed a snippet of what we could do.
Yeah.
And it was. It was mega to go there and do the practice sessions. Like I had rubber down the side of my boot from Marquez's front wheel, where it was like with battling and brushing tyres, and it's something I'll never forget.
So when was this in the timeline of this? We
were 17, 18, weren't we?
17, 18. So you weren't actually on road racing.
Just starting road racing, yeah.
And then going from the flat track to tarmac, who sort of helped you move across? Like what bikes were you on, that type of thing?
Yeah, well, at the time I was flat tracking, and I was actually cleaning Phil Crow's bikes. He was racing in the Thundersport Championship, and he lived up the road, and I wanted to earn a few quid, so he would pay me like 20 or 30 quid to go wash his bikes, and I didn't mind doing stuff like that. And then eventually he started taking me with him to the races. I'd do it like as a bit of a mechanic, and I thought I'd love to have a go at this. And then within no time he'd managed to sort it out with it's Henry Mablethorpe and WK Bikes, which was a Chinese importer it was a Chinese copy of an ER6 Kawasaki basically, and he got me one of them, and we just went and did a mini twin championship the following year in at Thundersport. So I was
How did that championship go? Because you're both smiling at each other.
I crashed it 17 times. And we'd literally like heat the frame up with gas bottles and bend it back because the bike was absolutely
solid steel frame.
And what makes it even better is just following you when Tim started. He was on the same bike, same frame. It must have been for about.
I put another 14 crashes on it, and it was still in one piece at the end.
Yeah,
of that year,
I think it's still. Someone's got it now. Still,
I'd love to know.
Yeah,
where
did
it
they
is.
know about the crash damage?
One careful owner.
One careful,
A bit of black paint. That'll do the trick.
Someone out there will be throwing stuff at the radio. Listen to this.
So. Are your mum and dad were not in the sort of the tarmac
They
racing?
came flat tracking with us, and we got them really into that. And actually, our younger brother Ben, he had a bit of a dabble and went quite good. He won the junior championship as well. And then we actually got my dad on a mini bike. And
that's the best thing ever. That was.
Yeah, we had some laughs.
Maybe not for him.
And
big crashes.
Yeah,
he busted his collarbone, didn't he?
yeah.
In his first race, I reckon.
So it was kind of through Croy that you started the tarmac, and then you've sort of built it on from there.
But then when we started road racing, they were not interested, were they?
Yeah, well, I said,
really?
Mum, like this opportunity's come up with Croy and blah blah blah. And she burst out crying. She was like, "No, you're not going road racing." I think they only
This is a woman who gave you a gun as well.
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
One extreme to what's going on.
One extreme to the other. But I think they didn't know what road racing was. They've never watched it. No one in our family is into it really.
See, that was my thing. You know, when you went over to Spain with all these lads and like you've just racked off a huge list of names, but they didn't know
who they were, but they thought it was mega.
No, but I meant you two. No, I meant your appreciation for the sport. So it's a bit like there's Marquez. At that time, did you think?
But if we was to do it now, I'd be starstruck.
Well, that's what I mean.
I think we'd appreciate it even more. But
I remember
passing
that's what I mean. Valtisa and seeing his levers and just thinking I don't really know who he is really. I knew he was a name, but I couldn't have told you what class he rode in. Obviously, he was in GPs at the time, but it didn't mean anything to me really.
Yeah. That's like when we've been at that motocross track.
That's like right now. I didn't even know he rode for Honda last year, so I didn't even know he was your teammate.
We went to a motocross track. Dom borrowed one of his mates' bikes and went to a motocross track. And who was that? He was like a British Championship rider.
Brad Anderson.
Oh, yeah. Where like if you're into motocross, you probably like really appreciate where we know the name, but we're like we don't really follow it type of thing.
It was in me. We had just clean over and rode off.
He was shouting at Dom. Dom was in a rut, and what was he shouting?
He was like, "Get on me!" I'm like, I came in, going, "Who's that belling on the KTM? I'm gonna dish him out." Like I was proper like, "Where's his van?" I was proper gone now and like.
We actually shouted at you.
Oh, aye, and then there's Sugar Tits goes, "That's Brad Anderson." I didn't care if he's Mary fucking Poppins.
Oh, you shouted back at him.
Oh wait, I was in front, so
you should give him a go around the TT and get you to follow.
No, my luck would be faster. There you go, man. It'll be absolutely mental.
So from is it like a 650 or whatever? That Chinese thing.
Twin cylinder. Yeah.
I presume you went up to the 600 after that.
Yeah.
And was that?
You did.
No, sorry. Yeah.
Super Twins.
Yeah, I went to the Super Twins. That's when you went on to my old mini.
I inherited your old bike, didn't I?
So you kind
you're
of
getting proper. You're the older one.
Yeah, I know.
By a minute, and you're getting hand-me-downs here. Yeah, what's going on?
So you then Super Twins, and you had your first year road racing.
Yeah.
And then I presume did you then move up 600s?
Yeah. My granddad got me a 600. It was like we didn't. By this point, we were just completely winging it. We had no real sponsors. We had a few people on board. A couple of lads come on to help me, which was mega. Danny Tomlinson, he got me a bike and a
DTR. Is he from round here? Is he?
He's about an hour from us, but it's kind of local. But yeah, so I upgraded to that, and he got me an old Merc Sprinter van, and we dug out an old. Oh man, we had some good times. We dug out the old family 1970s caravan, which my grandparents had from new, which we'd had stored away in a grain shed.
This is where the Neave family stem from. Everyone's been conceived.
Anyway, we'd hook that onto the back of the old caravan, on the back of the old Sprinter, and man, like our setup was the most porno-ish thing ever. I was so embarrassed to rock up. It it literally looked like a pea on wheels. This caravan did. It was like it's cream. Have
you got a photo of that? You must have.
I've got a photo somewhere. I'll show you.
You'll have to ping it over to us. We'll have to nick that off you.
The setup was horrendous, but like it did the job.
Yeah. And that was a Thundersport, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
both jumped on 600s at the same time, didn't we? In 2015 or 16. 16.
Yeah, 16. And then I remember you really coming to the forefront at BSB in Superstock. That was 2017.
Yeah.
And you both they were black and white. Were they sponsored by some boxing company or something?
It was
Chalk Racing and Boxing Social, yeah.
Yeah, but what is Boxing Social?
I think it's just like a media platform for everything boxing related.
Right.
Just gets put on. Still going.
That was a bit of a turning point for us though, because it's the first time we got like a proper sponsor on board who was like helping to pay our tyres and stuff. And one thing he drilled into us, like, we can't go racing on like your homemade painted fairings.
He wanted
He wanted bikes looking presentable and wanted matching levers, and it just upped our whole profile. It come out at such a good time, really.
Yeah. So did you two just start writing letters to a boxing firm? I'm just trying to think how did that come about?
It come about through my ex actually at the time. It was
you got everything out of that relationship, didn't you?
Her cousin's husband. So yeah,
Neil, he was a good man for us, wasn't he?
And in that year, obviously, you really, came onto the scene as well in BSB. It wasn't just like you were, making the numbers up. And fantastic. It was a historic event. There was 2 times where you were both on the podium, wasn't it? Snetterton
was the first time.
Is it Snetterton and Knockhill?
Cadwell.
Cadwell, sorry.
Who was where then? Because I can just imagine. Now, you see, I've only just probably met you at Pete Bowe's school, for 5 minutes. And this is a first real taste of what's going on now. As you're going to be on the TT game later on for your laps, but you could literally smell in the air the competitive nature between because there's even though you're quicker than him, he's better put another time in.
The first time we really got going was at Knockhill. I got my first pole position, and then on lap 2 of the race my gear lever fell off. So I was out the race, and Tim went and got a podium. So I was fuming. I was
"That's what I mean."
I was raging.
You must come in.
He didn't even come and say thank you. Well done, sorry.
Thank you. Yeah. I should have been thanking you for getting a podium.
No, he never
what are you going to say to me?
Seriously though, if you could describe your emotions from that day, were you sort of drawn between gut for yourself and pleased for Tim, or were you just pissed off?
But I knew what.
Look, we do not promote lying on this podcast, right? We want nothing but the truth. Let's be honest. At no point did you think, "Yeah, I'm over the moon from it." I really think you utter.
If you're not a twin or brothers in racing, you'll probably not understand. But yeah, it was along the lines of that.
I bet it was. No, it had to be. It had to be because I could just.
And then when was your first podium?
And then the round after that, we made sure nothing. We basically went home and lock-tied everything on the bike, and then I was
got 2
wins on the bounce after that.
We had a few. We just could not do a round without something falling off the bikes, and then we.
Who was building your bikes for you?
Us.
Yeah, we're doing it at home in our garage.
Me and Tom, we built them bikes. We picked them up, didn't we, from the shop?
Yeah.
There were 2010 ZX6s that had been on the road, just like low mileage, but because he hadn't upgraded the model from 2010 to 19 or whatever it was. We just bought 2 2010s and just that was it. Checked low mileage.
Converted them ourselves.
And that was it. Job done with our mate Billy, who came over here with us, didn't he?
Yeah, he came along in the Thundersport days, didn't he?
And then anyway, we couldn't do a round without stuff dropping off. And then we came across Fred, who was he was a mechanic in that club racing, and we just basically said, "Fred, we need you to come on board. We can't do a round." And since we've had his help, we've never had anything go wrong, really, have we?
Yeah, he's been top bloke.
So when was your first race win?
So the round after Knockhill, I got my
track?
It was at Brands Hatch.
Brands, and then you went.
Sorry, it was at Snetterton.
Snetterton, you got your race win.
Snetterton.
Was Snetterton your first 1-2 as well?
Yeah. 1-2, and then that was mega on it. Like no one had done that before.
I mean, even the the Lowe's twins who are they're Lincoln as well, so pretty close. But to do 1-2 in the British
I think they had first and a third
in
their 600 years, but to go 1-2 was
what
pretty
was the
special.
Time gap? You know what I mean?
To be fair, Snetterton, I got my head down, didn't I?
Yeah.
You've got
7 seconds.
You've still got the lap record around there in stock 6, haven't you? Or
no, I was like half a tenth off Taron's lap record.
Right.
I didn't quite do it, but I was close. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then that was that round. And then I went to Brands Hatch and won again.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I didn't get on the podium.
And then next round, I dislocated my shoulder. That was the first time I dislocated my shoulder. Where since then, it's just been a constant battle with my shoulder. But
really,
and so with you,
sugar tits here has got the same problem.
So with your parents, obviously with them not being really into it at first, not really being thrilled when you first started racing. Obviously, to go to a British Superbike meeting and watch your twin sons come first and second in a British Championship race, some there's like virtually no parents get to experience that's
it was
like.
a special moment,
They must have been incredibly proud. And have you seen a change in their attitudes towards the racing?
That was the year. That year, I think, because before, when we first started road racing, obviously they didn't like it at the start. First few years, they didn't really want to come. They'd come on a Saturday or Sunday, and they weren't really into it. They weren't particularly behind us. My dad always thought, "Oh, we'll grow out of it." It's just like
passing thing.
It's a passing thing. We're young lads, and we'll grow out of this phase, and we'll settle down on and be a typical farmer's lad and go farming. And like me and you have never had any. We've never once thought that would be the case. Like we don't want to do that yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then once we got to BSB, I think like they'd never been to a BSB round, and it's a good atmosphere in it, good crowds, and everything looks nice and smart, and you see all the trucks and everything. And I think they just thought, bloody hell, like this is proper now.
A bit more serious, isn't it?
It's like a proper, professional, and they can see that there's a possible career there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See that racecraft. So how much like did flat tracking bring in to tarmac? Be honest. Was it a case of you got on a road bike and went?
Yeah.
I bet. Look, I can honestly say, I think it'd be not bike control. Yes, confident with the thing moving. Yes, but I think you're going from foot down to knee, face, elbow.
My first track day on tarmac, I was pushing the bike down like I would my flat tracker, not hanging off, and everyone was like, "Oh, we're gonna have a massive crash doing that." So, I don't think it helps really at all with the 600s, but I think I'm starting to understand now where it could help with, like, you're spinning up on 1,000 and you've got to stand the bike up and using your body.
Subconsciously it keeps you sharp in certain areas, but I don't think you don't need to do flat track to go road racing. Like hardly anyone does it. I mean, a lot of the Yanks and the MotoGP riders train with flat track now because it's a relatively safe option of training compared to like motocross.
Like Rossi's got the ranch. It's similar sort of discipline, isn't it?
Have you ever been?
No,
ranch.
One thing on the
I was about to say because hold on, here we go. So is that your levers?
You lads would be competitive.
No, they're your levers. Who are you sponsored levers wise?
I've been with Spiddy for the last 2 years, but I've actually had to go to RST for the rest of this season because I wanted an airbag and I couldn't get one done for one reason or another. So I was like, well, safety first. Even if I've got to buy one, I'm going to buy an airbag suit. So I've gone with RST.
There we go then. There we go. No, because I think why don't you just go to Day and Easy and then you get a free.
Yeah,
I
can't afford that.
No, because your mate, Wardy,
Tom went out with Brad. Yeah, he said it was absolutely mega.
It's like the gold, it's like Charlie Chocolate in the Chocolate Factory, whatever it is. You get the golden ticket, get some Day and Easy.
I was a bit gutted to be honest, because obviously we've been watching that for years, and then. Like fellow Superstock rider Tom goes before we do. I was like, oh, bloody hell.
Yeah.
And he never did it before.
We have got a bit of a habit on this show of getting people on and people like talking about stuff and then it actually happening. We've had loads of people on who like haven't had rides. They come on here. So you never know who might be listening and you might get a phone call for the ranch.
Get Rossi ringing us up.
I tell you what, before, so
come through now on it.
After the 600s, your careers diverged a little bit in terms of the championship, and obviously Tom went to Superstock 1000, and you went to Supersport, and the Supersport bike was like an NRC. It very very much looked like HRC, but NRC. Do you want to sort of elaborate on that?
That was a rare one. That is so. It's Guy Martin who he bought us both a bike. He bought Tom a stock 1000 and me a Supersport bike, but he said I do not want anyone knowing I've bought the bikes and I don't want my logo.
So you've come on a podcast and told everyone, brilliant, genius,
we're
top job.
We're all right now. But he was like, but you can put my dog's names on it. So he's like, you what? So you've got 2 golden labs, one Nigel the dog and one Steve the dog. So he made his logo NRC, which is Nigel Racing Corporation, which I had.
It's a complete Mickey take out of HRC. Complete Mickey take.
And then Tom had Steve the dog sponsoring him, and he turned it into Steve Wacky, which is
based on Marowaki.
Yeah. So I had
it was just Steve Wacky corporation.
So I was like doing my race report. Thanking
Nigel
the dog.
and I was thanking Steve the dog. People must have been like, "What the hell is going on?"
So how did you two bump into like Guy Martin then?
He doesn't live too far. Yeah, it's through flat track, and he lives up the road from us. And he's good mates with my uncle, so we got to know when we was young lads, and then he'd come down on the farm we was riding flat track, and we spent quite a bit of time together. And he sort of followed our progress through racing. And
obviously you're very aware like how massive Guy is in the not just the racing world, like even just
television.
He's sort of he's transcended
crazy,
it a little bit into like sort of mainstream. But you see how he's sort of portrayed on the media and like on the that movie and stuff. Do you see a different side to him when it's just used in the farm, like messing around on bikes, or like is he what he is on the TV?
Yeah, he is pretty much. He's just mad as a box of frogs.
I don't think he wanted to just go, oh, Guy Martin, so it attracts more people. I think he wanted us to do the work still, and he'd give us a leg up, but he didn't want us to benefit from everything, his name, which it's not a bad thing, really.
I'm over
for the right reasons, isn't it?
But that's exactly that's the thing.
He's not doing it so everyone goes, oh bloody hell, Guy Martin sponsored.
He's a great lad.
He's done it because he wanted to help us, which is
even better,
mega
really.
for us.
Well, it is, isn't it? No, it's actually nice to hear because you don't hear of it's not publicised. You've just openly said that is not publicised.
And it was real good for us. He gave us a van as well to go racing in, which is like, I don't know if you saw that limited edition range of transit vans he brought out with like the off-road tyres on and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he got the first one of, I think they made
01 or 500.
A 500 made, and he gave it to us for a couple of years. Which is like we'd never had anything quite like that.
Yeah.
But it's just brilliant to hear someone of like Guy's caliber helping people out in the sport, putting something back into the sport, and chucking a bit of cheddar at you. Now, obviously, I tell you what, before we get going now on this show, cheddar means cash. Down here, apparently, it means cocaine. So there you are. So is Guy into his cheddar? You know what I mean? You and your cheddar? You know what I mean?
We're not starting a new rumour, Dom.
Guy Martin, the cheddar dealer. There you are.
Bloody hell.
So then, again, obviously, you had a year on the 1,000 before Tim transferred over. And are you pleased looking back that you had that year in Supersport?
No.
Do you wish you'd gone straight over 1,000?
If I'm completely honest, and it's not something I've opened up about a lot, but now I'm a bit older and I can talk about. I can talk. Well, it's 3 years on. I can talk about it more openly now. But
not gonna start crying.
I didn't want to. I just wanted to have a year away from Tom. I was constantly like the comparison, and we'd had 2 podiums, and it was one to. Yeah, well, whatever. But things are changing, aren't they?
Oh, he's breaking the shop new.
So yeah, I was just like, I want to do a year apart, and I felt I had a bit more to learn on 600.
Yeah.
But I wanted to move up to Supersport because there's a bit more track time and whatever else. But yeah, it was a bit of a disaster, to be honest.
And speaking of that sort of comparison, obviously I know you didn't finish the season with injury, and you had such a strong finish to the season that this is probably the closest in terms of like if you both went out right now, this is probably the closest you've been on track on the tarmac, really. At this point.
So, yeah.
In everything we've ever done, we've always been so evenly matched. Like one weekend you would win at flat track, the next I would. Would go mini biking, would be the same speed, motocrossing, whatever. We've always been like pretty neck and neck. So I can't see why it wouldn't be the same road racing, really.
Mm-hmm. Do you think if it is, like let's argument's sake, say you're battling for the same position in the championship? I mean, it's very difficult to. I can't even imagine.
We haven't been in that position yet.
I know.
We're like both battling for a race.
Have you thought through this and like how you would
to be honest with you, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's my brother, I can't pass him, if that's what you mean.
No, that's my brother. I'm going through him.
Yeah, that's more like it.
I'm so looking forward.
It's one of them, innit? Until you're in that position, you don't really know. But
there's still obviously there'll be respect. I'm like that with every rider. I'd never intentionally, unless somebody rammed into me, I'd be like, well, I'm going to return that favour.
He's a dirty rider. The more people get on the show, I'm not a dirty rider. I'm not a dirty rider. The more people I speak to.
Tom, have I ever done anything you would class as dirty?
Tom
last year at Cadwell Park, right? I was behind Tom, and I could smell a podium going down into the hairpin, and if I wanted to, I could have let the brakes off and would have either both crashed or I would have knocked you off, and I didn't do that. If I was a dirty rider though, that's the sort of thing. Like I'm not a dirty rider.
For a podium, yeah,
exactly.
Chrissy, I am joking. I feel like a bit of nerve here. Go on,
we had a good dice that day. Like after the safety car,
to be honest, mate,
into park, and like we was close, weren't we?
The safety car really helped me out, to be fair, because I think it was you, Cooper, and Taylor got a little bit of a gap, and then I closed you back up. I had. For me, I was pleased with my lap times, but the pace of the race, I think it was like in the 28s that day. In Superstock, that's a good pace.
28.
It's good going.
There was one particular part I was struggling with the Kawasaki where the on the corner exit, I felt like that I was kind of running out of track quickly. That's where, do you know when Lee Jackson crashed going onto the thing? I was having the same issue where basically when you're getting on the gas and wanting to finish the turn, I felt like I was running. So I felt like you were getting a bit of a Cadwell Park's difficult to pass, isn't it? The best place to pass if you can get a real good slipstream and just pull alongside in the park. Because I was struggling on corner exit, and then it was kind of yo-yoing. And to be honest, there was no safe pass on that day.
I was the same with Taylor in front of me, and down into Mansfield, I was going for the gooseneck. I was trying to creep up the inside of him to get a run down into Mansfield, and I thought, I feel like I couldn't do it, but I know if I go for it, we're both going to be in the floor, and it's just not worth it. You want to take that result, don't you?
But that was your first podium for Honda?
It was that, yeah.
I tell you what, let's go back. When did the relationship start with Honda? Because obviously the factory's just down the road. Perfect combination really for you. Where did that relationship start?
So when I first moved up onto the Stock 1000, well, I finished the year in 2017 on the Stock 600. That was when I first dislocated my shoulder, and it came back to haunt me. That shoulder did through winter training in 2017-18. So I was moving onto the 1000, and it popped out we went down to the Exel show that winter, and it popped out. And then I was in the gym doing pull-ups, and it popped out. And then I was mucking around on a quad bike in the snow doing donuts, and I hit a grass bank, and it popped out again. But
these are three very stupid things. You know what I mean? No one enjoys push-ups, mate, or pull-ups. You know what I mean? You pop your shoulder, deserves you right.
Drifting a quad bike in the snow, you've got to give me that one.
That's just cool. Stupid, but cool.
But most people, when they pop the shoulder out, it goes back in. But every time mine came out, it was go to hospital, get knocked out, and get it put back in, because basically I chipped a bit of bone in it. Every time it went out the socket, it would get caught behind the bone, and it would like wedge it out. Ooh. So
Jackie.
I was thinking, like, I'm going into Stock 1000 and my shoulders getting more frequent popping out. I need to get something done here. So I went to see a specialist, and he was like, you will not get through a season racing with your shoulder like that, especially on 1000. Like, you're just going to end up really hurting yourself. So I decided in February to have full-blown shoulder surgery.
Have you got a scar like him then?
Yeah.
Like, straight across the
We've had the same operations, yeah.
I've had it done twice now, but I'll come on to
that. Sorry, Dad.
They took a bit of bone from my collarbone and screwed it on.
Was that a Lattier?
Lattier, so I missed the first 3 or 4 rounds of the Stock 1000 Championship, and it was a new year for me as well, so it wasn't ideal at all. But went to Snetterton, I finished 8th, which was my first race, and then the second round was up at Knockhill, and first race I finished 5th, and my second race meeting I got on a podium, finished 2nd to Keith Farmer.
I remember watching that weekend. It was mega.
And I just felt, I was like, something just clicked with the bike, and it was so good. And then the following round we went to Brands
Suzuki, as you say.
It was on the Suzuki. Yeah.
went to Brands Hatch, and in the 100 miler, the first leg, I finished 3rd after hitting my kill switch in the race when I was leading. Dropped back to like 7th and got back to 3rd, and then straight out for the next 100 miler, the second leg of the 100 miler, and I led from start to finish until I got to the last corner on the last lap.
You'll have seen this.
And Joe Collier come up the inside of me, and I just like the red mist come down because I'd been leading all this time. And I just went in there and just thought, I'm going to do you on the brakes. And I went in there so hot, so deep, took the front straight into the Clearways. Bike launched itself into the.
I'll see if I can find that actually.
It is on Vimeo, I think, like on the Eurosport their channel.
The best crash reel,
mate. It's so spectacular.
I mean, if the fence wasn't where it was, like
someone
the metal fence,
would have probably got killed because the bike was going to go in the crowd. It was massive.
How was the crash damage compared to the WK? You know, like the.
Mate, it stood it. I went out in warm-up the next day and got our second fastest.
Shut up, man.
I was on it. It was good.
Started from pole the next day as well, wasn't you?
Like Fred and Marsh, my mechanics worked through the night to, like, everything was creased on
Adam Marshall.
Adam Marshall.
He's a boy, isn't he? He's a top lad.
What would I type in? Would it be on YouTube?
Yeah, it would be just something like...
Brand Superstock.
Brand Superstock, Tom Neave.
Dickhead, late on brakes.
Yeah. That's the title I should have been given.
So is that your biggest crash you've ever had?
Yeah, but I was fine. Like, I picked myself up and brushed myself down. I was like, what was all that about? I looked around, couldn't find my bike.
Bloody hell. So what's been your biggest crash then?
Touch wood. I've not had a big one in road racing, but I've...
no, like bike damage, because that must have...
No, I've been lucky.
Really?
Yeah, I've been
Good.
lucky, yeah.
May that continue, son. May
really
that
hope so.
continue.
As obviously, are you looking for the video as well?
Yeah, I'll just have a quick look for you.
I'll let
It's
you.
in his favourites, man.
What,
It's in his favourites.
as twins, in terms of
fine.
you're extremely similar in all all ways of life. What are the differences in terms of your characters and like your as you are as people? If you had to describe the differences, say somebody was I don't know, doing some sort of like blind test and they had to distinguish who's who. Like, is there much of a difference?
So that is a good question, to be honest. It's not personality wise. What's the difference?
Like personality traits.
We've both got the same traits because it's like both
same
really
sport,
competitive.
Same family, same.
We both live at home. Both got the same friendship group. Both went to school together. Do you know what I mean? We do the same sport together. We work together.
I tell you what. After we do this interview, we'll do.
Holy crap!
After this interview, we'll do the Mr. and Mrs. Do you know, like what we did with Taz and Taylor?
Oh yeah.
Did you see that or not?
I did watch it, but I can't remember it.
Yeah, we'll do that, and that'll be a good test to see how well you know each other. That is basically what that is. I tell you what, if you put that in front of the camera, you'll be able to watch that.
I tell you what, that is actually my biggest fear in racing.
It's a worst. If you was to choose a corner you don't want to crash at, it's probably that one at Brands, isn't it?
Well, they've modified it now, haven't they?
Yeah,
they've made it wider.
Apparently, because of like
Taron and Vickers,
a few of us had big crashes there, and they've pushed all the barriers back.
Well, both. I can't remember what injury Taron had. I think was that when he did his wrist.
Banged his head.
He knocked himself out.
Ryan.
Ryan had a bleeding on the brain at that crash because there's a slight bump on the brake and and if you bottom your forks out, you'll it's like an easy crash in it. But that's terrifying that.
But then after that round, I was harvesting on the farm, so I was just like a normal day's work. I just thought we'd fix my bike up and we'd be off to the next round, which was Fruxton, and we were still carrying on doing our own thing. And my dad rang me up, and he sounded like he couldn't get his words out. I was thinking, what? Something serious has happened. Like Dad is never like this. So I run over and jump on the combine with him, and it's like he still couldn't get his words out. I was starting to think like someone's died or something here close to home, and he's like, "Yeah, I've just had the Honda manager ring me up, and you're on the superbike at the next round." I'm like, "What? What are you on about? What are you on? Like that doesn't happen." And it's like, "Yeah, you need to ring him back. You need to ring him back. Just finish work, go home, and just speak to him." So I was like absolutely peaking, like driving back in the tractor, shouting like, "What is happening?" Like it's what I've always
Dad in the cab
before this point. All we'd ever done is go racing on our own, like not really, just like scraping through, like never really been in a position.
Just always busy and hard work.
Always
really,
up against it,
yeah.
And then and like Honda to me was like was my dream team. Like they're just up the road, as you know, and. It's a proper setup, and so I rung Harv up, and he was like, "Yeah, can we meet?" So I went to meet him at our local pub, and he was like, "Yeah, you can come and ride a superbike at Fruxton and Cadwell because Dan Linfoot was injured," and it was as simple as that. It was unbelievable.
I remember that because I was actually I was given a similar opportunity, but the round before I think. At my first one was I did not kill Brands, and then I was also at Thruxton that weekend on the superbike. So I remember you that was your first go, and it's very difficult when you've never been on slick tyres, you don't know the characteristics of the superbike. And I was in exactly the same position, and you get put in FP1, and you're like out with the best riders in the country. You know, there's so much to. I mean, even if you did a full test. Pre-season test, you know, there's that many like variables and stuff, and to just go out and just, you know, do your thing, it's very, very difficult.
Yeah, it completely got the better of me as well. Like being in that environment, I went through all my practice sessions and everything was fine, qualifying fine. One completely out of the back, but I was towards the back of the pack, and then went out in warm up and tipped off it. And then race one was like, right, I need to redeem myself. I can prove to Honda that I can do something really crazy here and like get a result. Imagine if I pull that off, it'd be amazing. Didn't happen. Launched it. I wrote the bike off completely. Like they didn't even bother building it.
Like the fastest corner of the track or something.
But I will just add, I went one church. It was the first fast left-hander.
Yeah, I know where
so it's flipping.
It's the one before Village, isn't it?
But through that sector, I was third fastest, so that's my claim to fame that weekend. It was Leon Aslam, O'Halloran, and then me. So, and that stood all weekend, which I was quite pleased about. But so I thought, was already like downbeat by that point, but I thought, right, I've got to double make up for two
pressure,
crashes now.
More
so I went out in the next race and I got up to like 15th or 14th, and I went and crashed again. Like, just the pressure completely got the better of me.
And
you've still got a job at Honda.
And I was thinking at this point, I was so upset. I thought, what have I done? It's an opportunity I've always wanted, and I've just chucked it away. They're going to think I'm an idiot, and but they still let me ride at Cadwell, which was amazing because it's my home round as well.
And you had a good run out at Cadwell.
I had 2 point scoring finishes, which was nice. So I didn't crash.
And then Honda have massively or seemingly like taken you under the wing, and obviously you the full championship in Superstock last year, Dom, and a real good championship campaign as well. Up until that crash at the end, you were like 4th pretty much the whole year.
Yeah,
or something.
4th, 5th in the championship. Yeah,
which, you know, in
thereabouts.
Superstocks it is good going, and obviously it must be, you know, teeing you up nicely for the, you know, new bike, new chapter really in it.
It was nice to just do a solid year, because the year before I missed the first 4, then I was on the Superbike, and I just did a bit of everything and never really got stuck into one thing.
Yeah.
So last year I had one solid year with Honda on their Superstock bike, and it was good.
So it is a really, really daft question. So this opportunity of a lifetime, your dad gets a phone call, right, coming to play at Honda. Did you get a reason why? If you know what I mean, that would be my first. If I got through the door and Honda said, like, want you to be on the bike, Dominic, I'd be sitting there going, right, well, why? No, I'm not being cheeky or anything like that.
I've never had that conversation with him.
No.
I think they probably just saw something at Knockhill, wasn't it?
I think Knockhill and Brands, even though I crashed at Brands, but I ran out the front all weekend, and I don't know, and I'd been injured all. Like, I didn't have any pre-season. I just think, who is this lad? Like, where's he come from?
I think the thing is, if you've got a fast lad, you can mould him into the finished article, where you can like stop a fast lad from crashing and sort of you know, polish him up a bit. But
we're trying to. It's still
going the other way is difficult.
Still a bit of a challenge.
Oh, it's still a challenge. But see, like, one of the best sayings I've heard with motorcycle racing, specifically in like tarmac terms, is there's always more jockeys and horses at this sport.
Trying to get my head around that.
You know what I mean?
More riders.
There's more riders than good bikes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
You know, you can go buy a crap bike and go out racing. But for them seats, that you know, same with you with build base.
There's not many good ones, is there?
No.
There isn't. And you two at that peak. But that would be my first. No, it would be. That would be like, right, go on then. Why?
Yeah.
But, you know, just for more curiosity in yourself. But no, if you're not thinking like that, just keep going out and keep fucking braying on. Beat it.
Just heading over to Tim. I feel we've been speaking to Tom for
it's interesting.
Obviously,
going again, yeah.
You know, looking ahead for this year on the Suzuki.
I've heard it plenty of times actually.
How's like testing went on the Suzuki, and are you feeling confident going into the season?
Yeah, really good actually. Yeah, to be fair, they won the championship with that bike last year with Coops, obviously.
Same bike, is that
same? They built a brand new bike.
Yes,
right. I think the only changes we're now on Olin suspension rather than a Patubo, but
right.
To me that's a positive really. And
right.
It's really good actually. I've not actually had a proper test on the track with just races or anything. It's only been like track days. We did an EMRA test, but that was a bit busy. So I'm looking forward to like a proper test to see where I'm at. But I'm feeling really confident, and I've been quite close to my like personal bests at those tracks. So that's it's a good sign, I think. Mm-hmm. Feel real comfortable.
So is Richard Cooper, like, were you teammates with Richard Cooper? He's a listener to the show. So.
Well, he'd obviously won the championship by the time I'd moved to. I did the last 3 rounds on their bike,
right?
And he was working out the garage with the super bikes, and I just got the bike and put it in my own awning.
Right.
So, but I was speaking to him, and he was giving me a few little pointers, and I saw his data and stuff like that. So that was a help.
Right.
But that was it really.
Oh man, I've actually got a good game lined up for. While you're speaking in a second, I'll get it. But basically, it's like matching up riders and superbikes, and you've got to say who you think's going to be like win out of. Do you know, like evenly match people?
Yeah.
And you've got to pick who you think's going to get the better of the other one after the 6 rounds. And I'm going to put it out onto the Twitter and stuff to see. People can like tweet in now before the season starts, and like if whoever gets the most right answers, I'll like maybe send them a cap or something. I tell you, no. I was going to say I'll try and find it. Give us 2 minutes.
Now with build base having such a strong role, obviously I know Honda have a strong role in roads as well. But have you ever been? No.
I've been asked this. You get asked this a lot, I think.
Of course you do.
As races, everyone asks, "Oh, are you going to do a TT?" I get lorry drivers in the yard and whatnot. They're always saying, "Are you going to do the Isle of Man?" Because that's what they know, don't they? They hear the TT. But no, I don't think it is for me, to be honest.
No, I actually think that's brilliant because he's the same. I think it's always better coming out than trying to hide round excuses and everything like that. If you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it.
I can completely see why you do it though. Like
Right.
you see videos and it makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up, and you think, I can completely see like the thrill inside of it. But
have you ever been over to watch?
I went over. Yeah, I went over with my sponsor last year.
The cheddar dealer.
No, not Guy. No, not Guy. No, yeah, he took me over only for the day though. We just flew over and flew back. He got a group of lads together and went over on this. I know it was a bit.
And it rained all day.
And it rained all day. And it was foggy. And we came back.
Definitely went to the right place.
Them lot all just got pissed all day, and I was just like, bloody hell! I wanted to watch some racing.
I was going to say, I went at the end of that week and we caught like 2 days of rain and we had 2 days of sunshine. So
Typical,
I did see a bit of racing, and for me, like, it was mind-boggling. Went to the first place I got taken to watch was Bagara Bottom, is it?
Bottom Bagara, aye.
But I was with Double Red, the photographer, and he had a media pass, and I shouldn't be saying this actually. We managed to get in a place where spectators aren't allowed to go, and I got hidden behind this tree, and you were coming like right towards me. If you'd lost it, you'd have been going over the top of my head. But I was sheltering behind this tree, and the marshal bike come through on his first lap.
They do not hang about, do they?
It scared the life out of me. I thought, what? And then Lee Johnson come through on his 600, like absolutely wringing its neck, and I just couldn't speak. I was thought, what is this? This is not right.
I've got some mates that's like the, you know, as a hobby we do the racing and it gets the adrenaline going and stuff. I've got friends that go to watch the road racing and they stand in the most dangerous place, like prohibited areas or like really like dangerous places, and their thrill is to those near misses, and you know, and
it's making
exactly
me
what you're saying.
Now, I'm getting adrenaline just talking about it.
And it's a much cheaper way of doing it than actually riding yourself. Really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't watch it even if I break down.
Really?
I've never watched. I have never.
Do you not
watched
go for years before you got into it?
No. When my dad raced, like classic bikes and that, but I've only ever been on pit with my dad. My dad.
Who's Dar?
Dar. Sitting opposite, absolutely
Foreigner.
fantastic. Yeah.
Foreigner over there.
No. So like, no, I went over for years, but I've never even watching. Man, you just think, no. But when you're on the bike yourself.
Tell you what, before we get on to this little game that I've got sorted, how do you sort of see the Superstock Championship going this year? Like, we've got a few new guys coming in. There's another lads from New Zealand, Shane Richardson and somebody else on the BMs.
He's a go, I like.
We've got Danny Kent coming in on the Morello Kawasaki, I think, for joining Fraser. How do you sort of see the new lads coming into the championship? Do you
I think it's going to be
I'm doing a couple of wild cards, and I'm going to dish.
Are you doing wild cards?
I'm going to bury the lot of you. I tell you what, all three of you battling for a win. I'll be like this. This is my moment.
Game's over, innit now?
I'm going to make that crash look like you fell off the kickstand. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How do you see the new lads coming in?
I think it'll be a strong year all round. You always get a new up and coming rider that might do something a bit special that you don't know about, and then there's all those lads who are another year experienced who we're all going to go faster, aren't we? So. Yeah. It's always a good year in Superstock.
A couple of good lads moved up, haven't they? But like you say, there's a few lads coming into it.
Is there any lads coming down from Superbikes or up from Superstock 600?
I don't think down from Superbikes, but like you say, was that Shane Richardson's moving up and he's done a bit on a Superbike over in America, I think, actually.
He's in New Zealand.
Right.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but he's done AMA as well.
And I think his teammate is a Superbike champion or something from New Zealand or America or something.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting.
And then you've still got Coops, the reigning champion, in it again.
Mm-hmm.
I think like you'd bet on Coops winning the championship because he's on what's set to be an amazing bike, that new BM, and he's won the championship, and he's like, however old he is, he's like the god of stock thousands, isn't he, Coops? So, but I think other than that, I think it's pretty open.
You've got a bit of brown on your nose.
As you said that, I can feel me and Tom kind of.
You're saying anything else? Well,
no, not really.
But
no, you know what I mean. He's safe bet in it, Coop, with what he's done.
Yeah, us lads, Coops. McConnell's going to be back after
yeah.
injury
But I think it's pretty open after that. You know, I think it's.
I think Danny Kent's. I know he doesn't really know the tracks, but I think he could be really strong.
You can't not.
I think
him in, can you?
Danny will be all right until he falls out with Steve.
Oh! Do you want to elaborate on
Swiftly moving on.
I just had to get that one in.
Right between the ribs.
I'll be waiting for that moment.
Do you think?
You feel better now, don't you?
Look at that.
You've got the monkey
big weight off my shoulders.
Do you think Daniel will finish the season at Morano? Like,
No.
6 rounds?
No.
How many rounds?
Well, I only got 6 rounds now, haven't we? But I can't remember
Drop
what.
the mic, I'm
I'll give him 3.
Should we have a
tasty bet?
I tell you what, I'll give £5 if he makes past 3. I'll give you £5.
Yeah,
and
that's a deal.
if he quits before,
Shake hands.
That's a deal.
Oh no, COVID!
we're sanitised before we start. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Right, superbike game. Right, so the people that we've got lined up against each other are. So you've got to pick like who's going to be ahead of the other one. So we've got Taz McKenzie against O'Halloran, Andrew Irwin versus Glenn Irwin, Mossy versus Ray, Ride versus Kennedy, Farmer versus Taylor McKenzie, and Olsen versus Linfoot.
They're good matches.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
So first of all, Taz versus O'Halloran.
I'm saying Taz.
I'm saying O'Halloran.
Okay. We've got Andy versus Glenn.
Andy.
You'll have a bit of inside info.
I'm gonna say Andy.
Andy.
Yeah.
We've got Mossy versus Ray.
Ray.
Ride versus Kennedy.
Ride.
Yeah, Ride. Yeah.
That's a difficult one, I think. Farmer versus Taylor McKenzie.
Taylor McKenzie.
McKenzie, yeah.
Olsen versus Linfoot.
Linfoot.
And I'll open that up as well to the if anyone wants to tweet us in,
We'll ask you, Tim versus Tom.
Oh.
putting us on the spot for the championship. Do you know what, I've up until this year, I think it was like you did have like a good gap. I think it'll be unbelievably close, and I think from the whoever's ahead after the first round, I think will go on to.
Oh, bloody
Go on, let's hear it then. What you're saying?
The cogs are
Time to
turning,
put your
aren't
big
they?
pants on. Come on.
It's a difficult one because you've got to take in the. Oh.
How are you?
Come on, spit it out. You're not upset, mate.
For me, there's no obvious answer there. I think it's going to be extremely close. I think, in
Do you
fact,
want to flip a
I
coin?
tell you what I'm going to say. I think I've heard great things about the Honda so far, but I think it's really difficult in the first year to get a bike to work. So I think
Blaming the
Tim,
engineering.
where
Nice.
you've got the
Ex-teammate,
advantage of
so
having the thing. So I'm going to go Tim.
Good man.
What about you,
Good
Dom?
man.
It's gonna be
I
close.
don't know
It'll
anything
be-
about them anyway. So
He
I
didn't
don't-
even know what class you did last year.
Exactly, that's it.
Yeah, you don't stand a chance, do you?
Rich,
take a
when you
guess.
get on the PlayStation, do you just play PlayStation?
No,
No.
not at all.
Right, we'll get to
Right,
it.
while
I used to go on the Wii.
Yeah, while
That was about it.
While that's getting set up, how important is mind games between you? Do you mess about
It
with
was
each
for me. It was.
Are you like out training
No,
each other all the time
that's
and
what
like
I
trying to
mean.
get the heads up on? Or
Not really.
We're not even doing this. We don't even train together now. To be fair.
That's it. No, just like the family side of it. You know what I mean? Because I can just picture it when you're coming in off of like a session. You won't be looking at anyone else's name bar
You
each
grow-
other's.
you-
You know what I mean? You'll be like, what's going on?
You do grow up a bit. I reckon.
Yeah.
When you at the end of the day, I still want Tim to do well.
Yeah.
Of course,
And
yeah.
I want us to both be there together.
Yeah.
I want us to both be on the podium
Is it-
together. And
I want to open up the question a bit more. Then, how important are mind games to the pair of you? So if you were sitting there with, well, right now, you got your competitor sitting across from you, so it's a bit like
I think
me.
a year or so ago it would have bothered me, but now I feel like I'm a bit more mature.
Yeah.
I can sort of laugh it off. I just think, well, that's good. If you're having to try it on,
Yeah,
Yes.
you're already
then
weak,
that,
aren't
for
you?
me, that makes me feel good. Actually, to be honest.
A bit of a compliment, a bit of a boost as such. There you go. Bottom button, son.
What was it the bottom?
Yeah.
I'm useless with these things. Oh,
But
here we
I
go.
don't think I go out my way to
Play
do
mind games.
No.
Here's a little question. Did you find it? You were saying about going in Supersport to like do something different. Did you find it easier when you were in different classes because you could really support each other on and hope because you're not direct competition? Did you find it easier being in different classes?
Going back to those years, like I say, it was a bit of a mistake, really, looking back. No, it was a bit of a disaster, actually. I struggled. I felt, I'm not going to make any excuses. I didn't perform, and I thought I was going to do better than I did. And then I jumped off and I got on 1,000 at the end of that year, and I was just like, God, what have I been doing? I feel like I'm on a level playing field now with the other stock riders in terms of bikes, machinery.
And you gel.
And I actually
in it.
went faster, and it was just win-win as soon as I got on 1,000.
Right, who's going first?
I'll have a go.
Right. So sector 4 of the TT game.
No resets, even if you crash. No resets. You're straight off the bat. No.
So that's it. If you crash, you're done.
No. If you crash, you
You
remount.
can't restart it. So like restart the thing.
Oh right, yeah.
So far we've had Rutter, Lee Johnson,
and
Mackenzie, both Mackenzie lads.
Rutter.
Who else have we had? We've just had Phil on just before. In fact, turn
Here we
that
go.
camera.
How did Crowe get on?
Terrible. Yeah, horrendous. By far the worst.
Does he not play this for the TT?
No. Well, if he
Thought
does,
he did.
I would
Curry
be
don't do
worried.
any sort of training. If people class this.
Press start, and then I'll turn this up. And then Dom usually hits you with quick fire questions as we'll go through.
While you're doing it.
And post-it notes.
Ready, and we're off. So,
Have you ever like passed each other off for the other person?
Go on, Jackie. Wall riding.
You got to answer the question. Have you
What
ever
do you- I
passed
won't
each other
listen.
off?
What does that mean?
pretending
You know what I
to be
mean?
the
So
other
if you had
person.
no.
one of you had a girlfriend.
No,
like,
no.
and then you
I
just
get
swapped
that
it
all.
over.
We get that all the time, don't we? But
Girlfriends.
Mate.
God, Benny,
No,
you're a little
we've-
player, you.
We've not tried it on that.
Well, he don't know anyway.
There you go.
What I don't know won't hurt him, will it?
Wait, that's it. There we go.
Oh,
Go on,
who
Michael
was
Dunlop
that?
sitting you up coming
Dunlop.
on. That was Dunlop, that's there. That's, if you're
Dirty-
going to get passed by
dirty
anyone,
riding.
Dunlop's fair. Here, what's this crack of... What's
Dirty
this
neck.
crack of Michael Dunlop at Bill Base for the rumour mill? He's been out testing with you. What's the crack
Yeah, I
there,
said to Steve, you got him signed up, but I don't know what the score is there. I think it's maybe a publicity stunt.
Is he not riding the Ducati?
Wait, he's riding for Paul Blair.
Oh yeah, I did hear that actually. Yeah.
Wait, it was the beginning of like
It's
well,
all
there's
announced,
no road
isn't it?
season now, is there? You know, that's the blunt side of it. There's no roads bar Macau.
Flipping that. This is
Oh,
hard work.
Bruce,
This is.
now you're sitting at Bruce Anstey. This is going absolutely fantastic.
This doesn't do nothing for me. I don't know how these young lads can sit on these all day.
Young, how old are you?
You sound like
Break,
an old
break,
man,
break.
you do.
Oh,
That's
Jackie!
Beautiful job.
Sit it on limiter now.
Flat stick.
Oh, God, this is doing nothing for my confidence.
My God, this is enough to put you
No
off.
wonder you
This
don't
is
want to do
nothing,
it if you
Dom,
play the game like this.
Tim, what's your favourite year racing?
2017.
Is it 600 stock 6?
Yeah, last year was a bit of a disaster. The year before was. Yeah.
When was the last time you had a shag?
It must have been at the weekend.
It must have been.
Right, we'll get.
Oh,
we'll
she
get a
was a
picture.
memorable
I could hear
one, wasn't
the floorboard going.
Press OK on there.
I had to bang on the ceiling and just pack it in. I was just sat in the kitchen. I was.
But you've been serious. That's brilliant.
Did get that one night. I reckon he must have had the broom handle on the ceiling. Shut up! Where did I end up?
There you go. If you press square to restart.
So
you did
bugger.
a
You're
157. I think the fastest, Rutter's the fastest on 138.
I can't believe he plays.
Oh no,
PlayStation.
but he openly just lied in front of my face. Oh no, I don't. No.
I just
play,
cannot
I
imagine.
don't play that. And apparently, who grassed him out? Lee won it. No, was it Lee?
It was Lee.
Out of all the riders, he was the last one you'd think would play
Well, yeah, that's it.
PlayStation. Yeah.
You see, that's what you get when you're a millionaire and you live in a brewery. You can do these things, can't you?
That ain't a chippy dig at him, is it? By any chance?
Oh, I don't ever give out cheeky dicks. I just say how it is.
What do you think of the studio, by the way?
Oh, it's mega.
Andrew Lund kitted this out.
He's done you proud here.
Yeah, he's done mega, and I've actually got Andrew helping us out this year as well. So he's coming to all the racing. Yeah, he's joining the team.
He's a good man, Lund. He helped me a
You've been
little
wanting
bit.
his trailer
One
back
year,
now, is
yeah. He's a good man.
We've got this going.
Do you take his racing with you?
I think I will. Well, this year I'm kind of running. I'm running a Crow Performance bike, and NGK have lent us an owner, and I'm kind of running out of it myself. Yeah. So it'll be off the back of this, I think.
Here we go.
And
there
we're
goes
away.
Valve.
What do you reckon to having to go back to looking after, like doing it yourself?
To be honest, mate, in a sense, I'm actually really looking forward
Be a
to
breath
it.
of fresh
I'm not
air.
being
I
funny. You want
reckon,
to
yeah.
be that's good. He's crashing.
Good start.
Because you know what it's like on both sides of the fence, and sometimes having a bit more control yourself, it's a little bit more pressure and a lot more things to think about. But there's a lot of pros for it as well.
In control of your own destiny, a bit more sometimes.
Exactly, yeah, and I'm looking. I've sort of worked with Croy before, and he's great with the bikes, and looking forward to it.
We're supposed to be trying to put Tom off here, and it's not happening.
You don't need to
know what I mean?
bother.
Like,
You don't need putting off anymore.
Why not? I think
What's life on the farm like at the moment? Are you as busy?
Flat out.
Is it harvesting season or like what are you up to?
We've just started harvest last week. But
oh my god, this must be the record for most of crashes.
79.
A minute in and you've had like 5 crashes.
So talk us like what's an average day an average day on the farm this time of the year?
This morning I got up, was in the yard at 7.
Get the tweeds on. Get the Range Rover out.
Get the welly boots, get welly boots on, flat cap on, pipe.
Go to the bank and win. There's no money in farming. There's no money in farming. But wait a minute, I'm just gonna have to withdraw this huge check.
Do you see the cows first thing in the morning?
No,
young brother.
That brings me on to my next question. When's the last time you had a shag?
A bit longer for him. That I'm aware of anyway.
We've had a bit of a job on our hands with the old lockdown, haven't we?
Job on.
What sort of a job?
I'll leave that to your imagination.
No. Right, so you were saying an average day for you?
Yeah, this morning just went in around the back of the shed, went on my phone for a bit so Dad couldn't see me. I think I'm joking.
You don't need to lie about that.
No, I had a load of spraying to do this morning, and then I've washed down one of the tractors because I was topping a load of nettles the other day, and I basically covered the tractor in cow shit because I went for a load of cow pats and it splattered everywhere. So everyone thinks farming is just sunshine and roses, but it really isn't.
What you like on a chainsaw, the pair of you?
I've done my chainsaw course.
We had a load of lads doing some telegraph poles around us with chainsaws, and I was like, if there's an opportunity through the winter to go and do some chainsawing with them boys, that's what I want to do.
And
I love it.
So you were 158, Tom. You were
138.
209. So I think the first victory of the season goes to Tim.
That's the first victory he's had on me, so I'll give you that one.
Yeah. I tell you what, start with the means to go on, youngins.
Exactly.
So that's the first round. He's got it. The mind games begin, kids. The mind games begin.
So we've actually got Boasty on this afternoon. I don't know him, but at all.
You got any good stories?
Have you got anything that we need to ask him?
Oh God, Bosie's full of stories. He is. He's a top bloke.
He's He's ridden every type of bike discipline going.
Mm-hmm.
So he's
full of knowledge.
Full of
I'll have a good big crack.
We've got out funny to say about him.
We'll have a chat afterwards, and you can maybe give us a few questions and stuff.
Think if it's out happened that we can.
Do you know from listening to the podcast, do you have a favourite interview so far that you've enjoyed, or like an interesting person that you maybe didn't know about, or whatever?
I enjoyed the one with Mick Shanley.
That was quite a recent one. That one, wasn't it?
Different twist as well, isn't it? Normally the riders talking.
A lot of the time you listen to all the riders and.
Similar
stories. It gets a bit boring, doesn't it? And everyone will probably say that about us, but it's the same. We're all you're all trying to achieve the same thing, aren't you? And you're all
we've all got the same dream, haven't we?
Yeah, exactly.
I think what we did with Christian in there. I think the revisits are going to be even better, in my opinion, because it's this is your life. Happened. You know what I mean? We first got on a bike and this and that. Your man gave you a gun and blah blah blah. But it's like I think the next time, back end of the season, we'll get everyone back in. Obviously Tim would have beaten you.
You got a lot to live up to.
It's all right. I like it.
And Chris, you'll be probably won't invite you back because you both would have beaten him. So it's going to be some crack this time.
You wish you hadn't voted for Tim now, Chris. Yeah. Mate, I'm putting you down.
And bearing in mind, you got a £5 bet, right? If I beat you. You want to retire?
The £5 do it.
I am now.
The £5 bet on the Danny thing, innit?
Just
out of interest, how many rounds are you giving it?
I'm going to give it 4.
4 rounds, alright.
Yeah.
Quite particular.
Well, I tell you
Very
what,
optimistic of us, isn't it?
I'm going to put a £5 in. The £20 on the line here, but I'm going to say he's going to do the full thing.
Right, so if he does a full thing, 5 at a Dom. If he's within 3 rounds, it's to Tim. What am I?
You're 3.
Oh, you're going the same as me, are you?
No. This hasn't really worked because you've got 6 rounds. He's going to go before.
3.
Oh, he's going to go on round 3.
Yeah.
You've got round 4.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
I'm saying he ain't going to turn up to round 4.
What did I do? I did 9. 9 out of 12 I did, didn't I?
Right, so...
Is that right?
9 out of 12.
Have the idea?
Yeah.
12, what are you on about? We ain't got 12 rounds.
Last year, me. That's how long I lasted.
9 rounds out of 12. So, well, thanks lads for coming on the show anyway. Really enjoyed the crack, and it's you're saying everyone's the same, but for example, we've had nobody on that got into flat tracking and was racing against Marquez and that. So everyone gives a different angle, and I'm sure a lot of the people that listen to the show as well, don't follow Superstock that well. So even just by sort of getting to know you a bit, then at least when they see you on track, it's always better watching racing when you kind of know the characters, isn't it? So
they'll be watching, going, Chrissy is a dirty rider.
So big thanks, and also big thanks to our patrons as usual, and to the sponsor Burrows Motor Company. And like I say, if you needed a Kia, a Mazda, or a Toyota, head over to one of the showrooms, new or used, and you get mention Chasing the Racing, and you get a nice 250 smackaroonies off the price of a car. Can't complain at that, can you?
Nothing wrong with that.
So are you up to much the rest, up until this season? Have you got much on? BSB test?
No, not really. I'm doing round 1 of the No Limits Endurance with Steady, which is at Snetterton.
Yeah,
so that's quite.
I'm there as well, so I'll see you there.
Yeah.
I've got a test with Honda on next Friday at Snetterton.
Mega.
So that'll be good.
And that'll be round 2 as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Excellent. And is that just a private test?
Yeah, just Honda, and then we're at the Donington test, aren't we? 4 or 5 days after that, and then it's all kicking off. So it's just a nice little lead up.
Excellent. And just before we go, who's your pick for Superbikes?
The championship, Brooks, I think.
Yeah.
Brooks. Everyone's saying Brooks, man.
Yeah.
Go. Have you said? I think in the past I've said Brooks, but to be honest, it's anyone's just like one crash away from a leg break.
You never know.
I think Vickers could be a dark horse because his testing was quite impressive, wasn't it?
Yeah,
against the Ducatis. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I think my dark horse is I'm expecting the 3 Ducatis to be up there.
Yeah.
My dark horse is the Yamahas. I really think Taron O'Halloran will be really competitive this year.
Yeah, they got that a few upgrades, haven't they?
Yeah.
That new engine.
New engine, and
everyone's keeping it quite a
World
Superbikes
they were really competitive first round. Top Rack won the first race. I think the new Yam, it was something like an extra 10 brake from what they had the year before, and it's already a good handling bike as well, isn't it?
It's not like Yamaha's never won a championship before. It's obviously capable. So
just a little bit of inside info. Obviously, you've said you think Andy's going to beat Glenn. In your team, obviously, you've got Ryde and Keith, and obviously you've seen a bit of behind the closed doors testing. Do you think there's going to be a standout, and who do you think is going to finish ahead?
I think it could be quite close, but if I'm honest with you, I think Kyle could get going all right. Yeah, just as long as they both stay on it, I think they'll do all right.
Oh, mega.
Yeah.
Right. Well, have you got any more questions? Or?
No, I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Excellent. Thanks very much, lads. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.